A day is made by his grand design. So fill up your cup as you listen in. Wake up in the morning with Shelly on WAPN. On WAPN. On WAPN.
Good Monday morning. How are you this morning? I am great and messing with all kinds of equipment. I know it's Monday. What a busy, great weekend we had. I want to shout out to my daughters and my husband. My husband got me probably the most thoughtful card I'd ever gotten all the years. And it just blessed my heart. It was the best way to start off my day. And so I have been slinging flowers for the last 4 years on Mother's Day because of a random man that said something about his mom that made me realize I was in the middle of a pit. I was in the middle of a pity party. And he said, I go out and deliver flowers on Mother's Day to honor my mom. And I thought, wow, honoring your mom by doing that. So this is something I've been doing for about 4 years now. My daughter will have different events. Calvary's been the last few years, but doing different things on Mother's Day, doing flowers and blessing moms. And yesterday we did that at Calvary Christian Center. And this year we decided to add Mother's Day cards to it. And it was such a blessing to just a little thing that made such a huge difference. And they had sweets and treats. And oh my goodness, I tried 3 of them. I'm not going to lie to you. And they were so yummy. The spread was there, and I love that family, and just had a great time. And then my other daughter was texting me the whole time. Jason was grilling last night, and so we went there for dinner. The best shrimp. Oh my gosh, that shrimp was so good. I don't know if I was just starving. I was starving, and it was the best shrimp. And got to see 3 more grandkids, which was wonderful, and spend time with them. And no, you know what? I did not take one picture last night. I don't know. That's unusual for me. I didn't even have my camera out. I think that was the problem. We were carrying in stuff, and normally I pull my camera out and then I have it with me to get those moments. I didn't have my camera with me, and so I missed all the pictures last night. So sorry, but I did see my daughter and my other side of the family, which was wonderful, and came home and watched some TV, and off to bed we went. But what a nice weekend. Did do volleyball on Saturday, which I appreciate. I love to see the girls. They have improved so much this season. So love seeing them do the volleyball and love being a family. Love participating in family. I'm so thankful that our whole family does live in Florida. We don't get to see everybody, but we do all live in Florida. And so if you really want to drive and see somebody, you can drive and see somebody. But I appreciate my husband and my daughters and everything. And I'm just thankful for WAPN, all of its listeners, all of its pastors. I got so many texts yesterday. Thank you so much. And hope that you just had a great weekend, and that the storms the other night, I hear it hailed down in Port Orange. And that's a shocker to me. I mean, we did have some rains go through, but hailing in Port Orange, that's crazy to me. But our house is fine. The radio station is fine. Thankful for that. Going into the hurricane season in a couple weeks. And my husband was telling me about the African dust. Is that what it's called? And that makes it help it or something. I don't know. I'm not even worried about it. We were talking about generators last night, and I was thinking, we are blessed. WAPN has a backup generator now. That was a prayer of mine for years and years and years and years. And a couple years ago, Mark Sawyer, helped us get that generator and the tank, hooked it all up. And it is so cool to get that report. I love getting that report that says, everything came on perfect. Everything tested out perfect. It just blesses my heart that we have that. And then at our house, we have portable ones, but we have more than one. And we usually loan one to a daughter. And our house is the house that always has the food, and we always have TV, because if you know me, my husband is TV. So that's his initials, and we always have TV. And I was thinking about that last night, about the years of hurricanes and prepping and all that stuff, and how much easier it's became. I guess the more I trust God on it, the easier they've come. Yes, you have to sometimes be without electric. We've been without electric for as much as 17 days. Yes, that got uncomfortable, but you learn, you adjust, and we're spoiled with all the stuff we have. I think that sometimes it's kind of good when things like that happen, and you have to kind of realize We use too much stuff. I am always on. That's why it was so funny. I forgot to take pictures last night because I didn't even have my phone. But we always are the person that's checking out something or Googling something or whatever it is. And sometimes it's good to unplug. And with me, probably it takes a hurricane to unplug. But I do not want a hurricane. I do not want any hurricanes this year. I would like to go through this year just smooth sailing. We are blessed to live where we live. I love Holly Hill. Let me just tell you, I have been here, the station's 40 years old. For the first couple of years, I drove back and forth. I was living down in Merritt Island, but Cocoa area. But then after that, I moved permanently up here across the street from the radio station. Literally, when I say across the street, I literally mean at the end of the driveway for a couple of years. And, it was a humble beginnings. I did not like living there because everybody thought it was part of WAPN. I felt like I never got downtime, but it was a very serious time in my life because I was going through some stuff, and God's plan was really good. I have to say God's plan was really good. At the time, I didn't think the plan was it, but I look back and I think those pastors that were here and they just welcomed my little girls and, we'd come over here and my girls would be with me and they welcomed them and encouraged them and prayed for them and strengthened them. And I didn't even know what God was doing. I was so overwhelmed with life. And sometimes I think that happens. We just get so overwhelmed that we don't even see what God is doing in it. We see the frustration, we see the stretch, we see whatever is happening, and we don't see that God has got his hands right on it. And I feel that way about why he had me live across the street. My dad picked it out. My dad was the one that moved me in, but God had the plan. And I was frustrated and I wasn't enjoying. I had all the reasons why. And now I look back and I say, but God, but God, but God. So as we start this week, happy Monday. I love Mondays. People think I'm a weirdo, but I love Mondays. It's a fresh slate. It's a fresh start. It's a new beginning. And so this week, you get to choose how this week is going to go. You get to choose, are you going to have a great week? Are you going to have an okay week? Are you going to have a get her done week? I'm going to have a get her done week. I am going to get all the returns returned. If you know, you know me. I have returns and I like to do it all at once. So I'd like to get them all piled up. And if I'm going to go, I'm going to do it all at once. I have a huge return pile. So that is on my list to box up and get ready to take back. So thankful for the easy conveniences now of doing that. So going to take care of that. I've got to organize some stuff. I'm an organizer when I want to be. My husband, if he's listening, he's laughing because I'm a procrastinator on one point, but I do like to start off the week organized and fresh and clean. So, going through the station, loading what needs to be taken where, if it needs to go to the warehouse, if it needs to go to the other business, whatever it needs to do. This is the day that I put it all in my SUV because this weekend I also help my daughter with some weddings. If you know that's my therapy. I love doing the flowers and weddings just to do it. To see all the pretty stuff, to see the vision come life. It's important that we have a vision. And I think that that's why God has me do weddings and flowers with my daughter. Because sometimes when we're in the ministry and we're so busy doing life or we're too busy doing radio and stuff, we forget about the vision. My dad had a vision to start WAPN 47 years ago. It was a thought, it was an idea, and now it's a reality. But if he wouldn't have started with the vision, if he wouldn't have, had a plan, it would have never became. And I feel that that's what's wrong with a lot of people. They just think that everything just falls in place. They don't put the work into it. They don't put the prayers into it. My dad was praying. He was selling the farm. He was doing all kinds of stuff to prepare for when God did it. So you have to prepare for what God is about to do. And I feel that we miss that part of it. If we just got in the car and pulled up to the event yesterday and we didn't have the flowers and we didn't have the bags and we didn't have, all the things that it took, it wouldn't have mattered. We wouldn't have been able to do anything. But we had to prepare and plan and load and organize, all for it to happen in a few short minutes for them all to be gone. But see, that's God's plan. He gave Yvonne a vision, and then we had to put it in action, and then we had to participate, and then we had to see what God was going to do with it. That's what your everything in life is. Everything in life starts with a vision. I was thinking about that early this morning. I thought, well, I got to do this and this and this. And God said, you already had a plan. I already gave you something. Why are you changing it up? Well, sometimes I change it up, and God has me change it up because he wants me to do something else. And other times I feel like it's a test to see, am I going to stay on track? Am I going to do what the plan was? Am I going to do what he prepared me for? Or am I going to go AWOL and do whatever I want? And I believe that happens with sometimes in ministry. I believe in ministry that people, they pray about it and then they get before. Like my dad used to say, they begin the cart. They don't have the wheels. They don't have the plan. They just have a cart. And they're trying to push this cart through all this mess or whatever, or to the field or to the market or to whatever it is. But without the handles, without the wheels, the cart's just going to slide along the ground, be harder work, take longer, be obstacles in the way. Where if you have the plan and the vision before you start, God's showing you, okay, you got to have some handles on there to steer this cart. You got to have some wheels so that it can go over those rough areas and make it. And we mess it up. God has given us all the wisdom, the direction, the guidance that we need. Every single bit of it. But what happens is sometimes it's arrogant. Sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's just craziness. Who knows what it is? But we'll go to step 3 and fail and can't figure out why it didn't work out. And we're mad and we're frustrated and we're blaming everything else. But there's no wheels. There's no handles. It's just a box and it's not going anywhere. And so I think this weekend, running around doing all this stuff and seeing the preparation, Jason couldn't have made those steaks without the steaks. He couldn't have grilled the shrimp without the grill. We get so busy, sometimes we just think it's all just going to be there. You need to prepare. Well, first pray. Of course, pray is the most important part. You need to prepare. You need to have a plan. You need to have resources to start the day with whatever it needs to be done. Like when I got here this morning, came in, and the first thing, turning on the computers and stuff and checking, if I've got to deal with any, emails, or if I've got any messages I've got to deal with, or whatever I've got to deal with, checking on to make sure the equipment's ready, doing this, doing that. I'm constantly doing stuff to prepare to go live on the air. And you just don't push a button and here you are live on the air. You've got to maintain your equipment. You've got to pay the electric bill. You've got to make sure that you've got everything wired up right. You've got, there's a lot. I don't know. People sometimes think I just play radio. There is a preparation. There has been a plan. There has been a ton of prayer. There has been a vision. There's been all these things that came, all the parts of the cart that came before we could even go on the air. And then once we went on the air, there's constant upkeep. There's constant maintenance. There's constant upgrades. Sometimes you have to reinvent. Sometimes you have to restart. And I think in life is the same. I think that Monday is a restart. I think Monday is a reboot. And it gives you an opportunity and a chance to change. Maybe stuff that didn't work out last week. Maybe stuff that was overwhelming. Maybe stuff that you just got stuck. Have you ever been stuck? Yeah. Like the cart without the wheels and without the handles, and it won't go anywhere and you're in the muck. Yeah. You've been stuck. And you're questioning and you're wondering and you're trying to figure it out. And God's going, I will throw you a rope and I will pull you out of that muck. If you're willing. Are you willing? I know. I think about this radio station. My mom and dad were willing to give whatever to make it happen with that vision and that plan and that purpose and all that. And here it is going strong 40 years later. And I get so blessed, so thankful to be out in public and people recognize my voice or my laugh and they'll go, "You're Shelley. I listen to your station," or they'll tell me something about WAPN. Thank you so much for taking the time to encourage me when I'm out and about, to reset me and reboot me for this week. So thank you, everybody that I got to meet and see and talk to this weekend. It was great, and I appreciate it. And let's get this Monday going. I love me some Mondays. So let's reboot, restart, regroup, whatever we need to do, and get this Monday going. Let's get our favor on and get it going. Don't expect to get the short end of the stick. Don't expect to lose. Do the opposite. Expect to win. I expect to win this week. Whatever I need to get done, God's got it, and we're going to do it. You're listening to WAPN 91.5 FM and WAPB 91.7 FM. It is Monday, May 11th, 2026. 85 is the weather, low of 71. If it's your birthday today, Jessica, Linda, Alicia, Margaret, Eric, anybody else that's celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. Safe traveling for Yvonne. She's got a 2.5-hour drive today. Big wedding and then back. So it's been a busy weekend. So pray that the Lord just give her strength from the top of her head to the soles of her feet and everywhere in between, and that it be a great day and a blessing. Today is National Checkup Day. Great day to call and get your yearly checkup or whatever you need to get to do. Just like you need to maintain your vehicle, you need to maintain this body that God gave you. Fuel it. And pray over it and get excited because God's got you. Remember to like, share, and follow. Listen to our rock show tonight at 6 o'clock. Let me know what you think.